My son asked me the other day, "Do you even lift, bro?" My God, this kid. Actually, he is getting pretty jacked. Plus, he's taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. No joke. I'm a little bit scared of him. Anyway, he's on this pretty intense weightlifting regimen, and some YouTuber recommended a post-workout protein shake. Oh my God. I saw him drinking this thing, and I slapped it right out of his hand. Well, once I regained consciousness, and he apologized for choking me out, I told him about Magic Spoon. That's right, Magic Spoon. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, which, by the way, is only 140 calories. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb, and so much more fun than a damn protein shake after a workout. And hey, you can build your own custom bundle with flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, maple waffle, blueberry, cinnamon, plus the newly reformulated honey nut flavor that will now be added to Magic Spoon's permanent collection. I didn't even know they were trying it out, but now it's permanent. Honey nut. Awesome. So go grab yourself a custom bundle of cereal and be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it, for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/NoDunks and use code NODUNKS for $5 off. Magic Spoon, thank you for sponsoring this episode.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, April 1st, 2022. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, thanks to the power of technology, we're going to see him in a second, I promise you that. It's Tas Mellis. How long does this intro go for? There we are.
Yeah, we got the full version right there. Great to hear, Andrew Schlecht. New producer Andrew Schlecht bringing the beats.
Oh, didn't know it went that long. We've got our top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Sup?
International man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And yeah, finally making the magic happen. Super producer, Andrew Schlecht.
Just a guy who's going to be watching Thunder Pistons tonight.
Oh! Real sicko. Yeah, Andrew filling in for our guy JD, who is officially on vacation. So we are not in the Classic Factory. We are in the StreamYard. Can't wait for things to go crazy in the StreamYard, for Lee's Wi-Fi to crap out, for me to drop. Who knows what's going to happen here? But
so far, so good.
Yeah. Andrew, so you're going to watch some sicko basketball tonight. You've been watching some sicko Thunder basketball. And we do appreciate you, though, filling in here for not only today's drop, but we got you for like a week plus, don't we?
Oh, yeah. I'm here for a while. We're going to be hanging out in the yard for a while.
Go out in the yard, kids.
Yes. Shout out to the stream teamers, too, joining us live here on a Friday on YouTube. Take a second, like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Comment away. Share the show. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Yesterday, if you're a Survivor fan, we dropped a new No Buffs with a very special guest, Survivor 36 winner, Wendell Holland. He joined Trey, JD, and I to talk about Survivor 42, this week's episode, and a lot of fun stories from his season. So go check that out. No Buffs has its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed, and all that. And we got a fun one lined up here today because we might be all scattered all over the place. Like, Tas, where even are you? I mean, you're not even at home. You're somewhere else in America. Where are you right now?
The most magical place in the world, Disney.
You put on that Cinderella costume and you just had to get down there.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, I got to get away from Disney tonight, so I think I'll be joining you watching Philly, Detroit, man. I think the most magical place in the world is in front of a television watching the Sixers and the Pistons. No, we're having a great time here at Disney. It's a little bit dark in my room, Yeah, it's a blast down here.
Okay.
Having a great time.
And then Lee, you're going somewhere soon, aren't you?
I'll be in Aruba next week. Yes,
Oh, boy.
doing
Oh, God.
streaming from Aruba. So yeah, that's going to really test the internet capabilities, I think, down there. But we'll find out. It's always
right.
good to mix things up a little bit.
Okay, then we need to make today's like a banger of an episode because things are really going to fall apart next week.
Yeah.
So on today's drop, I mean, look, our rundown, it looks like a classic because we're going to discuss last night's games, at least, the Bucks-Nets OT thriller, a few of the other performances, DeRozan going for 50. We'll get into those a little bit later. Trey, you've got some 5-Star Friday reviews because it is April. I can't believe it. March is finally done. So we've got those. We know a few of the 2022 Basketball Hall of Fame inductees from our guy Shams at The Athletics. We can talk about that really quickly. We got Tweet of the Night. We got Rapid Fire Fun. But first, all NBA teams. Lee?
Yeah.
You're going to get us started. And I want to hear like all 4 of our all NBA teams. I know it's going to be a bit of an information overload here. I'm going to try and keep track sort of like where we all agree. But why don't you have a go at it first, Lee? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debate and discussion about potentially positions and all this crap. But, did you struggle with this or was it easy for Leo?
Well, look, it's always great when you go first because then you can't adjust your picks on the fly. If someone makes a good point, then you can sort of go, all right, I'll switch that guy up there. He made something good. So, you're going out there on a limb a little bit. And look, mine is going to be filled with a few contradictions and inconsistencies, but that's all the fun, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, look at this though, Lee. We got Schumann in the stream team.
I know.
He has an actual vote, so we can influence him here. So make your case.
All right. Well, look. Okay. So the first team. Now, from what we said the other day, if I remember the conversation correctly, the debate, of course, comes down to that Jokic and Embiid are not both forwards. They're centers, so you have to pick one. If that's what I remember we did the other day, then Nikola Jokic is my first team center. I'm going to start there, okay? Which means that Embiid misses out on first team based on that criteria alone.
Which is our criteria, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
So therefore,
it should be everybody's criteria, but yeah, they're centers.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jokic is my first team center. I'll just get that one out of the way first. Then my forwards, I think, fairly obvious after that. I think Giannis and Kevin Durant, although Kevin Durant has only played 50 games.
Yeah.
I tried to use games as a metric that you had to play a certain amount. But there's so many other guys who are around that similar mark. I decided, you know what? Get out of here with games. I'm just going with, like, if you've performed and you've been a star player in enough games, and 50 is the minimum now because Kevin Durant's made that amount, then you're good enough for me. Okay, so, because I looked at it and, like, Ja Morant's only played in 56. Butler, Bam, the Heat, great record, but they've played in less than 55, those guys. And I'm like, you can't leave those guys off. So, anyway, my first 3 players are Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant in the front court.
Okay.
In the back court, I'm going with Devin Booker as my first guard. Best team. They deserve absolutely one guy. And Booker's been incredible this season. He's going to get some MVP love. He's my first backcourt guard. Yep. And then I'm going with Luka Doncic as the other one. Luka's been incredible. The Mavericks are absolutely flying right now. There's a lot of guys who are in contention, but I believe that those 2 have been the best and most consistent over the course of the entire season.
Okay, let's stop you there. You're all NBA first team. This is Lee's. Jokic, Giannis, Durant, Booker, and Luka as the 2 cards. Does anybody have the exact same team, Trey? Were you a little, feeling a little queasy about putting Durant on the first team because he only played 50 games? Is it somebody else, Trey, or do you have those 5?
You called it, Skeets. I had Jason Tatum over Kevin Durant. I'm similar to Lee in that games played is not going to be something for me that keeps you off all NBA teams in general, but it might help you end up on a first team or a second team.
Right.
So I do think the fact that Jason Tatum has really put it together during the second 2/3 of the season here, he's played 72 games to Kevin Durant's 50. That's enough for me to get him on the first team ahead of KD. But if you're talking about a list of best forwards in the game, I'm taking Giannis and KD right there. It's just a matter of, Tatum has been around for the entire season, struggled to start, a slower start for him, and then has really turned it on and been one of the best players in the league for 3 months at this point.
Okay. And Tass, where do you land on the first team? Do you have Durant on it? And do you have Embiid over Jokic, or is it the Joker to you?
Well, I have a few differences. Yeah, I took Tatum over Durant strictly because of games played. Unfortunately, that's a metric you have to look at. It's important. Yeah, 50 games is not a lot of games. That's what Kevin Durant has played this season. And I don't agree with the saying the best ability is availability, but it is an important ability. And so 50 games is, that's kind of the bare minimum. But Tatum has been so great. He got in over Durant for the first team. So Giannis and Tatum are my first team forwards, along with Jokic as my center. And then the backcourt for me, I go about this a little differently. I choose my 6 guards, then I choose my 6 forwards, then I choose my 3 centers, because I think that's the easiest way for me to make this happen. So when I found the guards the toughest, just because it's kind of hard to shuffle in who's on the first team and who's on the second team and who's on the third team. So many guys have missed a ton of games, and I found it really tough. I can see the Booker thing making sense, and I did shove in Booker along with Luka on that first team.
Okay,
just because Ja has missed so many games. He's only at 56 games this season.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're pretty much agreeing here. It's coming down to who's that second forward. Giannis is the lock. And then is it Durant, because you don't really care about the 50 games played, and we just know he's the best, one of the better players, of course, still in the league, or is it Tatum? I ultimately went with Tatum, like Trey was doing, so he's mine, and then I've got Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and Booker. And I have made this very clear. I'm on the record as saying, I don't really care which all-NBA team you're on, and I'm convinced no one ultimately does. In the end, when you're looking back at careers, you're like, hey, 10-time All-NBA, and you don't really do the deep dive. How many of those were first and second? So you're in the mix. So who really cares if you're first or second, in my opinion? So I'm with Tatum as my forward there. Okay, Lee, back to you. All-NBA second team. We know you have Embiid as your center, and then fill out the rest.
So Jason Tatum is the next forward as well in the spot there. So now it gets really tricky, because that forward spot, there are a lot of guys who I think are capable, available, play minutes there, have had great seasons. Karl Anthony Towns is a forward center according to NBA.com. I mean,
he's a
like,
center.
I know, but he's more of a forward than the others. So Towns gets on there for me. And then in the backcourt, I am going with Ja Morant. In his 56 games, he's done enough, based again on the criteria that I used in the first team. And then I'm going with Chris Paul as the second guard. Chris Paul's played 61 games. They're 51-10 when he plays. They've got the best record. He's leading the league in assists. He's the most clutch player. Statistically, maybe not right now, but we know that when the game gets close, it's been Chris Paul time. And I believe the Suns just deserve the recognition for having the best backcourt in the league this season, that they should have representation on the All-NBA teams. Chris obviously didn't make the first team. I think the second team is a fair slot for him.
Okay, so you had Embiid as your center. Then you got a little crafty putting Towns as your forward. You had Tatum because you didn't have him on the first team. And then you have Ja Morant and Chris Paul.
Yes.
Trey, what do you think?
Well, I think Lee is taking some liberties here, moving Karl Anthony Towns to forward on the second team. I definitely considered it, though, for my third team. But my second team, I got Embiid at center as well. Obviously, I have KD as one of the forwards since I had Tatum on my first team. I've got LeBron. He's, tied for the lead in scoring right now. 38-6 are his box score stats, 52 from the field, 36 from 3, 75 at the line. He's been great. The Lakers aren't losing on the court because of LeBron. You can quibble with the fact that maybe he helped put the team together, but his on-court play has been really, really great when he's been around. So I got LeBron as a forward as well. And then my guards are Ja Morant and Steph Curry. I'm giving them a lot of credit here for being MVP candidates for the majority of the season. Curry, his first half of the season, or first third of the season, he was basically MVP Steph Curry, playing that role. Draymond went down. He had to switch to kind of point guard Steph Curry and was still successful there. And then obviously we've seen the Warriors have really struggled since he's been gone. That being said, the first 2/3 of the season still matter a whole bunch to me. So I got Ja, Curry, LeBron, KD, and Embiid on my second team.
Okay. Tass, what do you think?
Well, Yeah, I absolutely hate getting into the positional debate because it's you just got to pick one hole. And our resident voter here, John Schumann, who's on the stream team, I was getting into it on Twitter with him last week because Karl Anthony Towns is considered a forward or a center. There's several guys who are considered for two spots. DeMar DeRozan is another one. He's a guard. He's also a forward. There's several guys when it comes down to it. And Schumann brought up that Karl Anthony Towns has played with Naz Reid for about 80 minutes of his 2,000 minutes, which is like 5% of his minutes. So do you give him the category of forward? I say no way. I don't think 5% is anywhere close to being able to say a guy is a forward. So he's easily my third team center.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough being a center in today's NBA when you're playing with Jokic and Embiid. So Embiid is my second team center.
Yep.
And going down the list, I mean, I even find throwing DeMar at the forward spot a little bit strange. I mean, he's a ball handler. He brings the ball up the floor, but he's a forward. I suppose it's okay because he does play, if they're starting their lineups with Lonzo Ball, who would handle the ball a little bit more, and Zach LaVine, who handles the ball a little bit more. So I squeezed DeMar in here along with Durant at my forward spots. And at the guard spots, yeah, again, I bunch all these guys together and I think of, who's the first team guards. And I was thinking about Steph as a first team guard. I think we're sort of in the prisoner of the moment camp with Steph and some recency bias going on there compared to Luka Doncic, who, people are putting up on the first team. And I did. Steph has got better numbers. He's got more games played. But I think Luka can be anointed just a bit higher than Steph because, their team's records are about the same. I think Luka will play about the same amount of games when it comes down to it. And Luka has had to do a lot for that team, with the amount of talent that Steph has around him versus what Luka does. So Steph got to my second team, and John Morant has to be on an all-NBA team despite playing 56 games. And Chris Paul's going to be there on my third team. And as Lee said, the clutch situation, he's still at the top, when you put a minimum on the amount of shots taken. So he's still at the top. And even though his numbers aren't incredible, his points per game and what he's had to do, he's surprisingly still played 61 games. And I think you have to put two Phoenix Suns on the all NBA teams just because of how much better they've been than the rest of the league. So even if his numbers aren't, Donovan Mitchell-like, who's probably not going to be on every single one of our teams, or Trae Young-like, who's not going to be on every single one of our teams. Team success does matter here.
Yeah, that's why I have Chris Paul, like you, Lee, on the second team here. That's where I slotted him in along with John Morant, which was pretty obvious. I thought it worked out really nice to have as my forwards on the second team LeBron and Durant, just because they have played, if you're playing pickup ball and you're saying, okay, who do you want to pick from all of the NBA players? They're going to go very, very high, but they do have less games played, despite the numbers being incredible. And their teams are either in the play-in right now or like trying to get in the play-in, in LeBron's case with the Lakers there. So I like LeBron and Durant on the second team here because they're still obviously just incredible players. And then Embiid, of course, is my center. I think with Curry, the issue with him is you're comparing this year's Curry, or at least I was, to previous year's Currys. And it's like, it's a step down, which, I mean, you should be like, well, hold on. You should be comparing this year's Curry against all the other guards. And I get that, but it's tough not to at times comparing to what we've seen before. And it's sort of like been a down year shooting the ball for Steph Curry, which is a little weird, even though he was, like Trey said, sort of in the MVP conversation very, very early, but fell out of that when they lost Draymond and his team started to obviously start losing some games, and then he got injured. So I've got Curry, more in consideration there for the All-NBA third team. But yeah, Embiid, LeBron, Durant, John Morant, and CP3. For the most part, we're agreeing on a lot of the guys. I like what you're doing there, Tass. With DeRozan, you are going with the forward sort of angle because there are a lot of guards, like you said, and I do the same when we get to our third team here. But Lee, you start us off, All-NBA third team.
Okay, so this one I also found, again, a lot of guys who can sort of have got a case, but I picked it out based on a couple of factors, and I'll start in the center again. And I'm going with Bam Adebayo. Now, he's only played 52 games, but the reason I'm choosing him as my center is because A, he's averaging 19 and 10 himself, having a very good season when he plays. And also the Miami Heat have the best record in the Eastern Conference and may finish that. It'd be kind of remarkable if they didn't have a all NBA rep on the, in any of the teams if they finish with the best record. Now, that doesn't, there are reasons for that, because Jimmy Butler's been very good for them as well. Kyle Lowry's good. Tyler Hero's been good. They've had a lot of contributors, but I just feel that Bam's probably had the strongest case out of the Heat players. And so, I also had to finesse Karl Anthony Towns up into a forward spot to allow this to happen. So
Right.
I'm representing, I just feel that the best team should at least get one. LeBron, reluctantly putting him on because his team is so bad, but acknowledging his individual season has been fantastic. So he does get on there. A little bit of a legacy vote, but still he has been good in terms of the numbers he's putting up. And I'm not playing the homer card here for you, Skeetsy, but I'm going with Pascal there at the other forward. Yeah. I just think, again, he has turned it around, and I think he's been the biggest reason why the Raptors have gotten themselves out of the play-in and into the playoffs right now. He's been incredible. He's been so good in these, again, the last month, 6 weeks or so, he's been brilliant. And so maybe that does overshadow a little bit of the slow start he got off to. But, I just think he's worth it, and I think he's deserving of that spot. And then in the backcourt, I've got Steph Curry as my guard, and then I've got DeMar DeRozan. I mean, great time to get a 50 spot last night there for DeRozan. But honestly, for the Chicago Bulls, for the incredible turnaround they've had for most of this season, DeRozan has been the most important factor there, I think, especially closing out games in the same way Chris Paul has there for the Suns. And he did it again last night. So I've gone with Steph and DeMar in the backcourt, LeBron, Pascal in the front court, and then Bam as my center on the third team.
Okay. And don't you worry. We'll circle back to you for, hey, what about this guy? And
Oh,
your biggest
yeah.
snub and all that. But your team was likely going to be different than a lot of ours because you had Towns as the forward on your second team there. But Trey, I assume you have Towns as your third center, but, tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways to go on this one, Skeetsy. And honestly, it kind of all starts with DeRozan because I'm with Tass. He plays like a guard. He was a guard at the All-Star break, a starting guard in the All-Star game. And, the Bulls basically start Vooch and 4 guards. So, he plays guard, but it's better for your team to make DeMar DeRozan a forward.
Yeah.
I think, because it lets you get some guards on there. But whatever, man. I'm keeping him as a guard. So I've got DeMar DeRozan. He's sticking as one of my guards because I said if he was a guard at the All-Star break, I got to consider him a guard when it comes to All-NBA. So he makes the team alongside Chris Paul. Lee just laid out the cases for both of them. Chris Paul, you could make a case for him as a second-team guy for sure. 61 games, so he's down on the third team for me, whereas DeRozan, 72 games. They're both great in the clutch. And I think DeRozan is actually the NBA leader in total points right now.
I believe so, yeah.
Very strange. Had a huge game last night. Not a surprise. This is a homer pick. Skeets told me if you don't put Siakam on your team, I'm going to come to your house and punch you in the face. So I've got him as one of my third team centers. Or my third team forward. And then I'm gonna pull Lee Ellis here and cheat a little bit because I want Cat and Bam on my team.
Wow.
I think they both played to all NBA capabilities. I'm giving Bam a little bit of love here because the Heat have been a solid team this year, and he's really performing as well. 19 and 10, 3 assists. He's got a Defensive Player of the Year candidate if he makes it to enough games. So I got Cat as my third team forward like a fool, and then Bam as my center. So I don't know. If you throw them both out there, you can call either of them a forward or center, to be quite honest.
Okay. All right, Taz.
And no LeBron there, Trey?
He's on my second team.
Second team.
Yeah. Squeezed it in. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, so Taz, all NBA third team.
Wow. So this is where it gets super tough for me. I think it was easy to put Towns as the starting center on the third team, center on the third team. That's how you start on the third team. I guess you do. For me, he was the third best center. He plays after calculations, 96% of his minutes at center. I don't know how he's a forward. So to me, he's an easy one there. It's like DeMar. I think if we're going just getting back to like the positional thing, there's guards on the Bulls that shoot more threes than DeMar. So back when they made these positions, the small forward and the power forward, they played a little bit closer to the basket.
True.
And DeMar is technically inside the arc a lot of the time. So I think if he fits that definition, he can be squeezed in there. And so my forward, DeMar was on my second team. I think LeBron easily one of the 6 best forwards in the league, even if his team is crap. This isn't the Executive of the Year award, or else he would not get votes because LeBron made that team around him, I suppose you could say. But I think if you want to knock him, it's for playing only 55 games to this point. But the scoring leader should be on one of these teams. And so, yeah, I knocked him down because of the games played. But I was thinking about him on higher teams. He is shooting above 50%. He's still incredible. So he's easily on my team. And Pascal Siakam joins him as my other forward on the third team. It came down to Siakam and Butler for me on the third team. It wasn't easy, but it does suck that I didn't take a member of the Miami Heat on my team. As Lee said, maybe the Heat end up as the 1 seed, but Butler has only played 54 games. And I think that does hurt a little bit when it comes to Butler's numbers compared to Siakam's. Not as good. And Bam, it's hurt him as well, even though he's an incredible player, and you'd pick him when you're picking guys against the fence. You'd want Bam on your team, but LeBron, Siakam, Towns in my front court, and that left Chris Paul in my backcourt, and I took Trae Young as my last guy because his numbers are phenomenal, and it was him versus Donovan Mitchell. And I think people will look at Trae Young and say his team isn't all that good. It's still a winning team, but because it's in the Eastern Conference and everybody is sort of together, it's just a glut of over 500 teams. He's in the 10th seed currently, but it's still a winning team. He does have 6 less wins than Donovan Mitchell of the Jazz, but if you got a winning team and your numbers are better than Donovan Mitchell, he's been so good. So I got Trae on my last team.
All right. Well, I'll just wrap this up, Hen. I had Towns as my third center. It was him or Bam. Rudy is going to be one of the snubs too, but I ultimately went with Towns. I think he has been the 3rd best center in this league. I put DeRozan as a forward, and I have him here on my All-NBA third team, mainly because I don't care if you put him as a guard or forward. To me, he does really play sort of both positions, but like there are just so many more guards where I felt like I was looking at the list going, oh, if I put DeRozan there, I'm going to have to like take X off of my list. So I was like, this just felt easier, where really I then have Siakam, of course. I don't want to flip our own table with Wendell Holland making that for us. So he's in there, and I was happy to see you guys all put him in as well. And he's been incredible two-way player too, and he's averaging 22, 8, and 5 as the Raptors, sort of move up the Eastern Conference standings. It was Siakam or Jimmy Butler. That was like the tough decision, and I think that will be the toughest decision a lot of the voters make too, if I'm being honest. And I could see Siakam not making a lot of people's lists, the people with the actual votes. But I have him there. And then my guards, because I didn't have Steph Curry on the second team because I had Chris Paul, I put Curry. And I with you, Tass, I went with Trae Young. I mean, he's averaging 28 points per game, 10 assists, 4 boards, and he's shooting 46, 38, and 90. Those are his splits. And yeah, you're like, well, where are the Hawks? Well, they're in the play-in. They're making the play-in. That's official. See you later, Knicks. You've been eliminated, Tibbs. The Wizards are now officially out of it too. But I have him there, and that means really probably my biggest guard snub is Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, that's who I've got there on my third team. So Lee, is there any other names? I said Mitchell there. I said Butler. Anybody else that you were like, I guess you didn't have Trae Young, right? So that was your MVP pick.
Yeah. Well, he was on the list this morning at some point, but again, just you're having to finagle a little bit to get some players in there. I couldn't leave DeMar DeRozan off. I thought he's been incredible, and so I sort of rewarded probably the Bulls' record over the Hawks, even though it's only down to 5 games right now. But I just think over the course of the season, Trae has been putting up incredible numbers. But another guy as well, who I know this one's not going to get much love. If you look at Jimmy Butler and you look at Chris Middleton, they're identical, their numbers. And again, records should come into play. The Bucks may end up with the best record. And I know Chris Middleton is...
But you say record should come into play. Like, this isn't the Suns in the West. They're like 10 games clear. I know. Like, these are 1-2 games. Like,
I know, but I'm just saying, like, when you're comparing those two players out of who's their second best player, it is identical across the board in terms of numbers. But Middleton's played more. And again, Middleton just gets overlooked. But I think he's been important for that team. So there's Jaylen Brown's also been good. He wasn't going to get enough love to get onto the team, but the surge here from the Celtics certainly brought that up because he didn't get any love at the All-Star weekend, deservingly so at the time. Yeah. But no Jazz at all for me. I couldn't put Rudy in. I mean, it just does. He's good. I think he's leading the league in rebounds still, but it just doesn't feel like he's having an all NBA caliber season. And Donovan Mitchell, it has been good, but I don't think he's been better than the guards that we listed. And then the ones that I left off as well, including Trae Young. I think, I just don't think he's been that good this season.
What about you, Trey? Who are your biggest snubs, or at least the ones that you were like contemplating the most about putting on?
If I were to go with DeRozan as a forward, I would have then dropped Bam as a center, moved Cat up to center, and Donovan Mitchell would have been the guard for me over Trae Young. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, the numbers aren't quite there for Mitchell compared to Trae Young, but I feel like Trae is probably our new James Harden out there, where he is a straight up offense all by himself, and he's also an offense for the other team out there. I think he's second in total points right now, first in assists. I saw Schumann mention that he's like a top 5 guy in usage rate, and the Hawks are a top 5 offense. So that's the case right there. That's the same as James Harden going 29, 7, and 7 and somehow not getting it on an all NBA team. So I've personally got Mitchell ahead of Trae Young, but I mean, they've got similar cases for sure.
And Tass, anyone else you wanted to throw a little love to that ultimately didn't make one of your top 15?
No, I would say, a couple Heat members because they're such a good team, but they get hit with that Spurs bug. They just don't have anybody that's quite outstanding enough. There's just better individuals out there in the league. So Butler and Bam missed out for me. But I would like to say, if I had a vote, I'd have no problem if my vote determined whether or not a player would make an additional $30 million in his career. I got no problem with that. I know some voters have an issue with that. It's a lot of pressure on them. It's makes them feel uncomfortable. I got no problem. I would love if my vote determined whether or not a man made $30 additional million, which is just so strange to say out loud. It's on media members. It's on 100 media members to determine whether or not there's a few guys. I think Towns is in there. Trey, not Trey.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Trey is.
Trae Young's in the mix for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's strange. It's a very strange world we live in.
Okay, what about this guy? I'll throw some out. Donovan Mitchell, we talked about. Other guards that I think you at least have to go, if I were to do an all-NBA 4th team or 5th team, they're in the mix, and I will be doing that.
Awesome.
The all-NBA sicko teams, I'll do it probably next week or, some point as we wrap up the regular season. So what do you want? What did I do last time? 10 deep?
I think you did 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you still had a what about this guy after that?
Yeah,
too?
so maybe I'll make it 11 this year. But anyway, Darius Garland has been really phenomenal for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's not going to make any of these actual all NBA teams, but he deserves some consideration. And DeJounte Murray with the Spurs there. And you said Jaylen Brown. He's a classic. Is he a guard or forward? I think most people think of him more as a guard because you got Tatum there, and you think of him as more as a forward. So he gets some love. Jimmy Butler is a huge snub. I'm fascinated to see if he actually makes the team. Like if the Heat have the number 1 record in the East, you're right, Lee, even though it's all jumbled, is it weird that they won't have anyone possibly if Bam doesn't make one of the center positions, which we're getting at, he might not, and Jimmy doesn't? Sort of weird. Zach LaVine deserves a little love. TK, he won't make it, but he got injured. That sucked, but an awesome first couple of months from him. But DeRozan was getting all the shine because he was putting up even crazier numbers. And then Bam and Rudy are the only real centers that are in the mix. So yeah, when we get to the all-NBA sicko teams, these guys will be making 4th, 5th, 6th teams. So if you have a case to be made for a guy that you want to see on the all-NBA 9th team, let me know at JE Skeets. You got a little bit of time. I'll sit down at some point next week and start hammering out these teams. But for the most part, we agreed on a lot of these guys. Schumann, I'm not sure if we helped you or made things more confusing. I feel like Schumann is at least one of the voters that I have a lot of confidence in Schumann and his selections, where some of the other ones I have to admit, I'm like, I sometimes think they just sit down and fill it out like within 1 minute. They're like, and then like they forget about a player or two. Come on.
I mean, Schumann's just popping in Trae Young's usage and their offensive efficiency
He's
just off the dome. I mean,
he's thought this through.
He even did the math with regards to the contracts. As there are 100 voters, everybody's only responsible for $300,000. It's easy. It's easy for John Schumann.
Okay. Great. And Andrew, I mean, look, you obviously follow the league just as intense as we do with the Slam and Jam Saturday podcast on The Athletic. We're big fans of that. You've heard all our teams. I know it was a lot of names. Is there any glaring omission or like, what are you talking about putting that guy in so-and-so? What do you think?
Oh, no. I mean, I think that you covered most of it. I think that you guys did a good job. You guys covered it.
I think we did too. if we're going to pat ourselves on the back. Because I've listened to other podcasts try and tackle this with, let's say, 2 less people on the call, and it can get very confusing because they get too in the weeds about the guard, or is he a forward, or is he a center?
Yeah.
I caught myself looking up percentages of positions played, and I was like, if I say this on the podcast, I'm removing myself from this.
Yeah.
Come on, we're just talking about
So,
the best players.
Andrew, which Thunder are going to be making the top 10 All NBA teams?
Ooh,
Think
yeah.
anybody's candidate for that?
I think you could squeeze a Kenrich Williams onto the All NBA 9th team. I think.
I mean,
There
look,
we go.
SGA, how many games
Yeah,
did he end
great
up playing?
season.
He's going to be on one of my teams. You know that.
Yeah. He should be there.
Yeah.
And then after
Can
that,
Josh squeeze in one of those? I mean, he won
Yeah.
Western Conference Rookie of the Month 3 months in a row, didn't he? I think.
he's won it every month, and he's not
Yeah.
going to win it because he hadn't played.
Yeah.
Josh make the All NBA 14th team, maybe.
Yeah, he'd
Okay,
be down
okay,
there, Lee. I
okay.
think SGA's a lock. You know, probably off the top of
Yeah.
my head, 5th, 6th, or 7th team. Yeah, he put up great numbers, obviously, when he played. So, yeah, we'll get to that next week. So there it is. Our All NBA teams agree or disagree. Let us know right now in the stream team. Some of you are. I saw you guys making your teams, or let us know in the YouTube comments, or tweet at us if you want at No Dunk Inc. Okay, let's take our first break. Lots more still to get to. We'll get into that awesome overtime game between the Bucks and the Nets last night. DeRozan going for 50, a bunch of other games happening, and we got a lot more, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. But let's talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you got to check out Athletic Greens. Or, AG, as us cool kids call it here on the podcast. I'm sure you'll all agree that most of us are not huge fans of having to take a bunch of pills or vitamins in the morning. You got breakfast to eat. You got to shower. There's no time to take all these pills. With Athletic Greens, you just found yourself an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good, and you'll truly enjoy getting your daily vitamins. So what is it? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, all of the things. All of the things, all of the things, all of the things. To get this, Athletic Greens is a climate neutral certified company. Tass, I thought you'd like that part.
Yeah,
I included
I
that
do
for
like that.
you here
Thanks.
today. In fact, in 2020, AG purchased carbon credits that support projects protecting old growth rainforests. So that's good stuff there. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit. Take a guess at what website you got to visit.
No athletic/nodunks.com/nodunks. No.
athleticgreens.com/nodunks.
Greens.
I just want to see if you were paying attention to me.
yeah.
Again, that is athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
We talk a lot about numbers and statistics and percentages here, so let me hit you with my favorite stat I've seen. 79% of men think about their balls every day.
What's the number?
79%. It's probably more like 100% once you mention it.
Exactly.
I think we're up to 100, but the standard percentage is 79%. There are 5 of us here on the show.
Right. So one of us is not?
I think it was Tass. I don't think Tass has yet. I'm not
Just
sure.
did. Just did.
Oh, somebody forget about it.
Okay. Hold on.
Somebody forget. Every day, 79% of men think about their balls.
Too low.
I agree.
What, your
You mean the
balls?
percent? Oh. Well, if your balls are too low,
Yeah.
they won't be if you wear Sax underwear. The one brand that has made it their mission to keep your manhood supremely comfortable. Sax is obsessed with the comfort of your manhood. Thanks, Sax.
Sweet.
They make the most comfortable underwear for men, premium styles equipped with their patented ballpark pouch, which is basically a built-in hammock that keeps everything in place.
Whoa.
You know what I say? It's a good day if you're in a hammock. There's no sticking or chafing. Chafing? Chafing? Same thing?
Close.
I mean, which do you say?
Yeah.
Chafing. Just 24/7 comfort. Saks makes underwear for all kinds of different occasions, even ones specifically for sport and outdoor activity. I wear Saks when I play tennis. Balls in the pocket, balls in the pouch.
Yeah.
Very secure. If you want to try Saks, head on over to Saks.com/NoDunks to get 10% off plus free shipping by using promo code NoDunks. They come with a comfort guarantee, so if you're not 100% satisfied with your new underwear, Saks will give you your money back. So go to saxx.com/NoDunks and use promo code NoDunks for 10% off and free shipping.
Peloton, my old friend. That's a new drop around here. We love Peloton in this house. Every single one of us uses it pretty much every day. We originally got it for Rachel. She was having knee problems. She wanted something that was low impact. Got on the thing. She was immediately addicted and went on a 60-day ride streak. Like she did 60 days of rides.
Made it
Crazy.
sound like she was on it for 60 straight days.
Yeah.
Wouldn't get off.
It felt like it.
Right.
It felt like it, to be honest. And we all use it. You should see Jackson's abs. The guy. It's crazy. Very jealous. I guess I could do the ab workouts too, but I don't. I do rides and weights, but I got to work on my core. Anyway, Peloton is pushing you further with so much new on the Peloton Bike and Peloton Bike Plus. New classes, new music, new ways to keep your workouts fun and motivating. I'm doing today a 45-minute Power Zone Endurance 90s ride with my girl Christine Dercole later. And I'm actually looking forward to it. That's true. And Lincoln's been dabbling with Peloton boxing. You don't need gloves or anything, really. We have a Bob over there that he likes to slap around. Sorry. Slap again. If you've never boxed before, these classes will have you working up a sweat while working on the fundamentals of form, footwork, and fun combos that will keep you on your toes. Peloton has a workout for every goal and mood. De-stress from a long day with 30 minutes of strength and 20 minutes of cardio, or do a quick 15-minute total body class before work. Stay motivated while having fun with bike workouts, yoga, meditation, dance cardio, and more. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. That's ONEPELOTON.com.
All right, back with everyone here. I was going to stay in the Classic Factory, but that would be a lie. Here in the yard with the boys. We weren't planning on doing this, but the games were so good last night that I think we have to address some of them. Then we'll get to 5-Star Friday. And, of course, we've got Rapid Fire and Tweet of the Night and all that stuff still coming up. But, Lee, get us started here because this game was amazing, and it was pretty key in the no-dunks world. We'll talk about later. But Giannis becoming the Bucks' scoring leader, all-time scoring leader, Giannis. And he got the Bucks to the overtime victory there over the Nets in a thriller.
Practice your free throws, kids, because Giannis, so after clunking a few, stepped up when the Nets were down by 1 here with about 3 seconds to go and nailed 2 beauties, as Eric Collins would say. But this really capped off just an incredible comeback performance here by the Bucks as well, because in regulation they were down by about 11 there with 3.5 minutes to go. The Bucks get back into it. Giannis missed a 3, and on a couple of plays later, he comes down. They're down 3, steps outside, rises up, and knocks down just an incredible shot to send the game into overtime there. And then the Nets sort of looked like they were kind of in control there. Kevin Durant gets fouled late by Wesley Matthews. They were down 2, jumped in the corner there. Wesley Matthews could have been possibly ejected for that. He was arguing that it was maybe an offensive foul on Kevin Durant. I don't think it was in that case. I don't think so. I can understand why he would try to play that card, but it wasn't going to be the case. They didn't review it anyway for a flagrant, and he got the 3 free throws there. But prior to that as well, in regulation, Chris Middleton actually did get ejected for a what turned into a dangerous play, I think. I think it was actually the right call to eject him on the play there for Bruce Brown, because Bruce Brown had elevated and Chris Middleton tried to just foul him to prevent him scoring. I understand what he was trying to do there, but once the guy's elevated into the air, it becomes dangerous. And Brown went down. Now, fortunately, He didn't get injured. He continued playing, but he did get to the free throw line. That was a flagrant, and Chris Middleton got tossed. And it was like, one of those sort of controversial calls. But in review, I actually think they got it right, because you don't want to be doing that to guys. Now, Brown, to me, looked like he did actually slow down to sort of see if he could get some sort of contact there a little. But ultimately, Chris Middleton, I think, caught him in the wrong way there. So he got tossed. But ultimately, the game, this comes down to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Another 44-point game, 14 rebounds, just an absolute master. And then Kevin Durant couldn't have gotten a closer shot there to win this game at the end. Beautiful play. Steve Nash basically said, everyone just get out. Kevin Durant sort of came over to help out. Kevin Durant still rose up. I was only hoping, I was like, you can hit a 2. I don't mind in this case. Do not hit a 3. Because of our pick and payoff score there, the line was 1.5.
If that drops, I win.
Exactly. And it was sort of similar to what we saw in the playoffs last season there, where Kevin Durant made the shot, but his foot was on the line. This time it just rimmed out. But this was an incredible game. And Giannis, he went 15 for 19 from the free throw line last night. And I thought this was an interesting point here from Reggie Miller. He said, hey, we've seen this before. Remember Game 6 of the finals last season? Yeah, I think a lot of people remember that one. I think that they won the championship. He had 50. He made a lot of free throws. I think a lot of people are like, they're not like, did that really happen? Wow, I don't remember that. But no, but honestly, I just wanted to say for Giannis, never afraid of the contact, even though he's missed a couple, and still his free throws, while they've improved, and not his strong point. And then that 3-pointer after just clanking one just a couple of plays before to send the game to overtime, I thought was incredible. So this was a fun game. And Wesley Matthews actually defending Kevin Durant on the last couple of those possessions. I would have thought Giannis would have been on it, but Wesley Matthews did a very decent job for an older, everyone's smaller than Kevin Durant, but sort of slower, tougher guy there. So great game and great win for the Bucks.
Yeah. Trey, let's go to you next. What do you have to add to this one? I guess let me ask you first. Do you agree with the flagrant 2 get out of here, Chris Middleton call by the officials there after reviewing it? Or do you think that was a little harsh for what happened?
Maybe a little harsh. A flagrant 1 is probably called for, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The Bucks are going to get a rep at some point. I don't think that they necessarily deserve the rep, but between Grayson Allen and this play with Chris Middleton, maybe people will take offense. I see people calling them the new bad boys here in the stream team.
Oh my God. It literally hits his arm. He tries to prevent a dunk. Yeah, it's sure. In today's game, they probably are the bad boys. It's so damn
Somebody's got to be the bad boys. Nonetheless, it didn't matter because Giannis, that guy never gives up. He never thinks he's beaten. Down 7 with a minute left. Does not matter at all. Misses a wide open 3-pointer with 47 seconds. Gets the ball back for a step back 3. Cash. Misses 4 straight free throws. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to the line. Knocks down 2 to win the game. The guy that's the defining characteristic of Giannis to me, is that he never thinks the game is over. He's never going to give up on a play. He's never going to give up on a game. Never going to give up on a season, a series. Like, you have to beat them 48 minutes, and that's just what it was last night. The guy's putting together an incredible finishing kick here for the MVP debate. So I feel like we had a nice run of Jokic and Embiid kind of going at each other, but we just had 2 massive statement games from Giannis, beating both Eastern Conference contenders they had to go up against.
Yeah, the win moves Milwaukee a half game back task from Miami for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the loss pushes the Brooklyn Nets into virtually a 3-way tie down there in the play-in with the Hornets and the Hawks, who picked up a victory last night. So they're all 3 teams are 40 and 37, but by way of tiebreakers with the 3 of them, the Nets stay at 8th right now. But yeah, what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, the Nets don't care about the regular season, unfortunately. This game shouldn't have gone to OT, but they continuously say after the game, we just want to be healthy. We just want to be healthy. They aren't in a bad spot. They were up big late in this game against the champs, but the champs had more effort. The champs did it again. I mean, that is exactly what they did to the Phoenix Suns last year. I'm sure Reggie remembers this. I mean, they just got second chance after second chance after second chance. They didn't shoot a better percentage than the Suns. They just got more chances at the basket because they out-efforted the other team. And that's what happened in this game as well. The Nets can continuously say that they just need to get to the playoffs, and maybe their effort level will go up. Can they just turn it on? I suppose it's possible, but they had so many chances to win this game.
Yep.
They're up 9 with 3:50 left. Giannis went to the free throw line, missed that free throw, and Wesley Matthews got a putback on a missed free throw just because the Nets didn't care. Up 7 with 2:10 left, gave up another offensive rebound putback. This one to Bobby Portis, just rebound after rebound after rebound. And then, the 20 seconds left, the broken play, and Giannis buries that three. It shouldn't have come to that if you're the Brooklyn Nets. It shouldn't have gone to overtime where the Giannis drive there with 3 seconds left after Durant put the Nets up. Giannis gets it in the backcourt. Is he a point guard? Anyways, he gets it in the backcourt, and he brings it up and just steamrolls to the basket. All the Nets really had to do was keep their hands up. They knew what was coming. And on the live, I thought they did keep their hands up. Durant and Nick Claxton, who was inserted instead of Andre Drummond to play defense against Giannis, looked like they sort of went vertical, but Nick Claxton made the mistake of hacking Giannis, and then Giannis goes to the line and buries 2 free throws. He called them beauties, Lee. Can you call free throws beauties? I like this
Eric
game
Collins
is a beautiful
does all the
game.
time.
That ain't right. I mean, this is such a beautiful game. Basketball's a beautiful game. Swishes are beautiful, but beautiful from the free throw line. We're calling free throws beauties. That's weird to me.
From down 1 to up 1 from 2 free throws. I think they're beauties. I think because Eric Collins doesn't throw them out in the first quarter when it's like a 6-point game.
Yeah, they got to be clutch free throws.
Yeah. So I like it. I'm down with it.
Then Durant obviously had the shot that rattled right to left, rim, and out. I found it interesting. The first person to pick him up, Stephen Nash, his coach, just sprinted out there to pick him up. I say all this about the Nets, and they continuously say, "Yeah, we'll figure it out in the playoffs." I know Nash knows where his bread is buttered. That dude Durant can win you games, obviously, and Durant was really pissed about that foul call against Giannis because he didn't foul him. Nick Claxton did as they went up, and Trey said it the other day. Durant is going to have to be so big defensively for this team because they're sort of lacking in the big man department. But Giannis, was able to do just enough. And I think the Nets walk away from this game thinking that they know that they can beat the Milwaukee Bucks, but the effort level goes back to last season. The Bucks are just going to beat you. They're not going to stop for 48 minutes, whether they're down 7 with 2 minutes left or whatever, like they were in this game. And everybody just follows suit. It's you can see the championship swagger there with Drew Holiday, just sort of finding the holes with Giannis. He's just there. He's just around. You just, okay, Giannis, you do your thing, and I'll figure it out. And I think Bobby Portis is pretty key to this team. Like last year, he was this found money as the backup center, hitting threes from the corners. Now he played 31 minutes, backing up Brook Lopez. He has, just sort of solidified himself as a really, really important piece. This team has it all, obviously, to win the ship. And in a weird way, the Nets do too. But they play the Hawks on Saturday. As they're tied for 8th, as you mentioned, the standings there, Skeets. Who the heck knows where that you'd rather finish 8th than 9th. But the Nets can get to the NBA Finals wherever they are. But I'm sure they'd rather finish in a 1-game scenario where they have that backup game.
They could really use an elite defender on the wing. I'll tell you that. In last night's game or any of these series moving forward, someone that could actually play some defense and make things a little more difficult. So will Ben Simmons play? Who knows? No one seems to know at this point. It's looking like one report you see is like, yeah. The other part is like, nope. So, I don't know if Steve Nash is even holding his breath at this point for Ben Simmons to return. If I had to pick one part that had me pulling out my hair last night because so much was riding on this game, it's an interesting part. Hear me out here. It was right after you said, Tass, the Bobby Portis rebound and put back, and it was a 5-point game at that point. The Nets, they're up. This is the end of regulation. There's not a lot of time left. There is 140 left in the game. They're up 5. I mean, really, really a score, and you may have it wrapped up at that point. But anyway, they miss a shot. Bruce Brown gets an offensive rebound. He tries to go back up and try and score. Okay, he was in position to do so, but he misses. Andre Drummond then grabs another offensive rebound. And this was just a perfect illustration. We always talk about guys with high basketball IQ. There's the opposite of that. And to me, this was a perfect representation. It's Drummond, gets a rebound. Good work, big man. He's got guys. There's lanes. Kick it out. Just get it out to Kyrie. Let's kill some more clock. Let's get a good shot. Let's go to Kyrie or Durant. And instead, because he's the big guy. And I get it. He's like, well, I'm just going to go right back up. There's traffic. There's guys around him. It's Drummond. They're like, he's got the ball. Just foul him. We're not going to let him just dunk or score easy. And they do. And then he goes to the line and just bricks. I mean, bricks 2 free throws. And it's like that little small play. He kicks that out. You get another 24 seconds or 14 seconds or whatever to play with. Kill some more time and get a better shot with Kyrie or Durant. And instead, it's just like, he just like, I get it. He just goes up because he's somewhat around the basket, even though he wasn't all that close. I was like, I wasn't feeling goodly when that happened because I knew he wasn't going to hit the free throws. Yeah, and then the Bucks force overtime. But that one hurt there in the pick'em loss for me. And we'll get to our tiebreaker here later in the show. But I think we would all agree none of us would be upset with a Bucks Nets series again. Run it back. Be it 1-8, be it 2-7, wherever it may happen, maybe in a second round matchup or something like that. Oh my God. It's just so much firepower out there. And the Bucks to do this without Middleton, who Trey, you talked about time and time again, like Chris Middleton's sort of their closer. I mean, Giannis is a beast. Giannis might win MVP, but they go to Middleton a lot.
Totally.
He's like their Durant light type of guy. And he's not even in this game because he got, I think, wrongfully thrown out. And they still pull it off because, Drew hits big shots, and then Giannis was like, no, we're not going to leave here without a win. So let's just get that. Crazy fun game.
I think the Nets turned up the mics on that rim. Like as Bruce Brown is driving down, turn it up because it sounded so much worse than it was. And I think that factored into things. It was loud. It was just the way Bruce Brown went up, I think, and came down. That factored into the referee's decision. Because it was a hack, but it sounded bad and it looked bad. I think that's what happened to the refs.
I'm with Trey. I think that was a flagrant one. Like that was actually like to me like exactly what a flagrant one is. It's also like it is Chris Middleton, like not known as like the bad guy, Bill Laimbeer, Chris Middleton. So I mean that even has to come into consideration a little bit. But anyway,
the bad boy Bucks. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. How about this? My man with the Bulls hat, DeRozan scores 50. Bulls rally past the Clippers, 135-130. Also overtime game. Crazy stuff last night.
I'm not going to lie. I thought the Bulls were going to lose this game for sure. They were playing pretty even throughout the first 3 quarters, but it kind of came down to math. The Clippers were making a bunch of threes because they take and make threes. The Bulls are one of the worst in the league at actually hitting threes. It was 11-6 from the 3-point line through 3 quarters. But in the 4th quarter, turns out that mid-rangers, dunks, and free throws ended up getting the job done because DeRozan was incredible in the 4th quarter again. He had 17 in the 4th. It got helped out a little bit by some clutch bad fouls by the Clippers. Like DeRozan should have probably only finished with 41 points if he actually makes his free throws at the end of the game there, but he missed. The first foul was on Terrence Mann, and away from the ball foul, just a little bit too much on DeRozan's back, I suppose, while they were trying to inbound, so he gets the 1 free throw. And then Paul George going around a screen, he didn't want to end up getting another game-winning DeMar DeRozan three-pointer in his face. A little too close, though. Fouls DeMar DeRozan. He goes to the line, makes the first 2, and somehow misses the 3rd. We go to overtime, and DeRozan was great again. 10 points in overtime. He got 50 on a dunk, and the Bulls lucked out a little bit with Paul George hitting his minutes limit, not playing there in the overtime period. But this was a huge win for the Bulls. They're up 3 games now on the Cavs, who are in 7th place. So it's looking pretty likely the Bulls at least hang into the top 6. They're only a game and a half behind Philadelphia for 4th. So the dream of home court advantage, it's still alive. I think it's going to be pretty unlikely to happen. And I don't know that home court advantage over the Sixers really means anything for the Bulls, but they're trying to get that first win against Joel Embiid. So you'll take any sort of advantage there is. But that was a great win for the Bulls, especially because maybe the best game of Patrick Williams' career. He was awesome, got the start in the second half. He ended up with 10 points, and I think 10 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. He had the best dunk of his career. He had a couple of threes. He really earned his minutes in this one and maybe a starting spot going forward. So bit of a surprise from the Bullies last night, but it was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, Lee, anything to add?
I bet you Patrick Williams is hot on the fantasy waiver wire this morning because, he didn't, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 for 2 from 3, 4 for 4 from the field, steal, 2 blocks, no turnovers. I mean, people just want to ride the hot hand in fantasy.
That's right.
The funny thing was, DeRozan, I'm shocked he missed that 3rd free throw that would have won the game for them. But I also sort of think it evened out because I didn't think that away from the foul away from the ball foul was really warranted. So he went 3 for 4. They needed 3. He got 3 in the end. So I'm okay with that. And then the Bulls in overtime got the victory. But yeah, Clippers, they just look completely different. I know Paul George there obviously didn't play the end, but with him out on the court, they just seem a lot more of a threat to other teams.
Tass, anything on Bulls Clips there, that overtime victory from Chicago?
DeMar, baby. I mean, another 50 piece. I tweeted this stat because I saw it from the Athletics' Mike Vorkunov. I was surprised that this year hasn't had the most 50-point performances in NBA history. It just feels like there's been so many, maybe because we do a daily show, but it's the second most of all time. There's 18 this season. What year do you guys think were the most 50-point performances?
Well, there was a season, obviously, where we were doing the show where there was that one year where there was felt like a million of them too. I mean, it's a couple years ago, right?
I'm gonna put in a vote for the season that Wilt Chamberlain averaged 48 points per game or whatever like that, because he had to go over 50 a ton of times to average that many points.
That's interesting. Let me check the article. It's definitely not. I don't think those years even came up, which doesn't make any sense when you say it that way, Trey. It's a good call. But no, it was a couple years ago. It was 18-19. Yeah. There was 22 50-point performances. So we're gaining on it, but I don't think it's going to be beat this year.
That's not different players. That's total times in a game someone's gone for 50.
This must be a modern era thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Wilt had 45 50-point games in the 1961-62 season.
Yeah, it's got to be that.
So, yeah, it has to be all Wilt Chamberlain, non-Wilt records. It's kind of like Giannis passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the Bucks scoring lead. But Kareem scored so many points for the Lakers that he would lead 22 franchises in scoring if you just throw that one out. So, you know, if you're old and tall, you cannot be included in these.
Well, one guy that has gone for 50 this year already, I think I have that correctly. Yeah, we made a bet about it. Sadiq Bey. Trey and I debating whether or not he'll ever do it again, but he went for 50 this season, not too long ago. He had a little late scoring surge to help the Pistons beat the 76ers 102-94. I mean, Philly just completely falling apart in this game, helping out Trey's Chicago Bulls there. Trae Young, he led the Hawks past the struggling Cavs 131-107. And then Utah snapped a 5-game skid with the 122-109 victory over the Lakers. The Lakers have turned into the new Sacramento Kings. Oh, teams reeling? Need a win? Oh, look, you got the Lakers on the schedule. So, yeah, Utah gets a much-needed win there. So, Tass, of those 3 games, Sixers falling apart, Trae Young getting the Hawks another win there, and then Utah snapping that 5-game skid. All of them you wanted to touch on?
Well, we got to discuss the Sixers. I mean, they made a blockbuster deal at the deadline to get Harden, and things are not looking good. A huge reason why they fell apart last year in the postseason. The Ben Simmons non-dunk, Doc Rivers called him out, and Doc Rivers is now calling out James Harden. He was asked after the game, is it your bench that was the difference in this game? They're outscored 38-9 or 39-8, whatever it was. They got hammered. He said, no, they didn't struggle. It was more James than them. And I just wonder how this goes because you see Joel Embiid out there absolutely giving it everything he has. And James Harden just doesn't from game to game. Doc said that we weren't moving the ball enough, but that's just not going to happen with James Harden. It's a nice wishful thinking there, but James is going to be the guy who needs to be better, and he is not. The Sixers were up 6 to start the 4th. Doc made a change, which was to at least put one of their big guys on the floor, one of their stars, Harden or Embiid. He wasn't staggering their minutes for the last few games, but he decided, okay, that's not working out. We gave up all our depth when we made that trade, so we've got to put one of them out there. So that was a good switch up, but it was James Harden out there, and it didn't work out. Embiid had to come back and try and save the team after Harden essentially gave up the lead, and he did not. So a 4-15 game from James Harden. He's just not performing as games go on, and that's sort of been a James Harden type thing. And he's not performing through the first for the first 4 quarters. I mean, the first 3 quarters as well at times. Sometimes he's great. His last game, he was really great, and they couldn't finish the job. But in this instance, he wasn't. So it's a roller coaster. I mean, last year was a roller coaster with Ben Simmons, but if you remember Joel Embiid at the beginning of this James Harden era, when they acquired Harden, Joel Embiid took to Instagram with a photo of himself, caption, "I can't believe this is my life. Things were going so good with James Harden." But since the lack of depth hurts, but really it's on Harden. He asked for it. He wanted to be the guy who handled the ball more. He said he could be the best version of himself in Philly, and it ain't happening right now. And it sucks that I'm talking about Philly because Cade has been so phenomenal. In March, he had 23, 6 boards, and 7 assists per game. Sweet numbers, especially for a rook. We can go back.
On a competitive team too. I mean, the Pistons
they've
actually winning games, and even ones they lose, they're in it. They're not getting hammered.
Yeah, they've been good. I mean, going back to the beginning of the show, Andrew Schlecht was talking about Pistons Thunder. I got no problem watching that on a Friday night because the Pistons performed 23, 6, and 7. He's the first rookie to put up those numbers or better in a month since MJ. Oh, don't want to compare him to MJ, but yeah, 23, 6, and 7 are special numbers. That's for sure. And you can see how everybody is better. Killian Hayes looks like a solid NBA player when Cade's playing this way. I mean, he has that leadership quality. Cade does of really lifting his teammates' play because you can just rely on him, and everybody follows suit.
Lee, it just back to Philly. It is one thing when like Harden has a stinker against the Suns and you lose, and then he shot a little bit better against the Bucks, but they lose. But hey, those are teams that won the title and made it to the finals. This is sort of next level where you just have a complete meltdown against a scrappy bunch. Don't get me wrong, but it is still the Detroit Pistons. This is a brutal loss for them.
Yeah, his body language just sort of tells you all you need to know. It just sort of looks like he's like, I'll settle for a 3. If it goes in, great. If not, I don't really care all that much. Against the Bucks the other night, he started off well, faded in the 4th. And just his reputation sort of tells you that when the going gets tough, he tends to not really want to be there for that fight. So that's definitely a concern here. Embiid, I thought, was a monster last night, but he just didn't get the help. And this was the sort of night, it's a Thursday night, it's a quiet night. They just got to go out there, Philadelphia, and bank that win because they do need to. Obviously, they're in the race here with Philadelphia, with Milwaukee and Miami. But man, the outlook here for Philadelphia isn't great because if they do run into Brooklyn in the first round, I think a lot of people will take Brooklyn, and then after that, if they do somehow survive that, it's tough to see them getting past one of those, Boston, Milwaukee, or Miami, if it's those teams after that. So I sort of see first round maximum for this team right now.
Trey, anything to add to any of those 3 games? Obviously, the Pistons winning, the Hawks winning, the Jazz winning.
Always feels like it's somebody else's fault in Philadelphia. Nobody really wants to take responsibility for losing this game. Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers blamed Ben Simmons for last year. Embiid basically blamed the bench and Doc Rivers for losing against the Bucks. James Harden said, "Oh, we're blaming the bench. I'll come out and blame the bench." But Doc Rivers said, you can't blame the bench. This one's on you. I don't know. Seems like maybe the best players on the team should be accepting responsibility here. Maybe the coach should take some responsibility here. James Harden and Joel Embiid had 8 points combined on 3 of 9 shooting and 2 free throw attempts in the 4th quarter. Joel Embiid was a -9 in his minutes in the 4th quarter. The Pistons won by 8 points. So it's like, come on, Embiid. Honestly, he had a great game. He had a great 3 quarters. Put the team on your back and get a win. That's what you should do against a team like the Pistons. So I don't know. It just feels to me like nobody wants to take the blame when things go wrong in Philadelphia, and things are going wrong right now.
Mm-hmm. Have some news here, guys, to keep it moving. WNBA legend Swin Cash, NBA stars Manu Ginobili and Tim Hardaway, and former longtime NBA head coach George Karl, as long as West Virginia head coach Bob Huggins, are among those reportedly set to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Formal announcement of what I believe to be a 16-member 2022 class is expected this Saturday with the Final Four. But our guy, Shams with The Athletic, first reported the news here yesterday, Lee. So, Swin Cash, that's a given. 3-time WNBA champion, 4-time WNBA All-Star, 2-time Olympic gold medalist with Team USA. Just one of the best. I said Hall of Fame name and Hall of Fame game now. Swin Cash is such a underrated great name. But then Ginobili making it first time on the ballot, I do believe. And then Tim Hardaway, who's been on the ballot for 4 or 5 seasons at this point. according to Shams, is ultimately getting selected here. Were you surprised by? With the NBA angle of Manu or Tim Hardaway?
Oh, no. I mean, Manu for me has been a lock for
Yeah.
a long time. I mean, he's got everything there. But when I saw the report on ESPN that said Cash, Ginobili, Hardaway to Hall of Fame, I was trying to workshop a cash considerations to the Hall of Fame there, because you always see those jokes when the cash considerations has been traded, but couldn't quite get it out there. But Swing Cash, legend. Great to see her making it. And Tim Hardaway finally getting in there. It's been a few years. And I think there was obviously an incident there he had back in the day where he made some comments about the LBGT community, and I think that's been sort of a big reason why he's been kept out of it. But I just want to say he's made amends for that. He's spoken about it, and he has supported the community, and he accepted what he did was wrong at the time, and he learned from it. So people can make a mistake like he did, and they can also they deserve a second chance. And I think Tim Hardaway has shown over the years that he deserves a second chance, and that shouldn't be held against him in perpetuity.
Yeah. Here's my reaction to your cash considerations joke. Yeah.
Nice fun.
Yeah. It's nice to be back in the StreamYard where we can play the Swin Cash gif. Any thoughts, Trey or Tass, on what appears to be these Hall of Fame inductees? According to Shams, he never gets these wrong, so they're going in.
Yeah, he counted up the votes, just like the Brownlow medal, just reading them. I just love to see Manu going in. One of the most beloved players of his generation. It's going to be fun to watch his career-long highlight tape. The guy could have been, he ended up as a Hall of Famer, just a two-time All-Star, two-time All-NBA, just because he was happy coming off the bench because it was the best for the team. That's exactly what you want from a basketball player. Not to mention, he's throwing out crazy flair every single time he's out there on the court. So, yeah, Manu, dude's a legend. Great to get in.
Manu, right? There was a game. Australia played Argentina in like 1997, under 20s or something, or under 22s. And Manu was brilliant for Argentina. But the game winner was hit by this guy I used to play basketball with in school, Aaron Trahair. Hit the game winner. Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I've got it somewhere. I'll show it to you if you want, if anyone cares. But just incredible that the 6 degrees of separation or whatever it is. The guy I used to play high school basketball with ended up hitting a game winner for Australia against Argentina in a game where Manu just lit him up. Wow, wild stuff.
So is that almost means like you're somehow better than Manu Ginobili, doesn't it?
Well,
if I'm following the math correctly? Yeah.
Maybe not better, but
at least comparable.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations to you and your high school buddy, and congratulations to all of those inductees, at least that we know so far, going into the Hall of Fame. Okay, let's get to a little 5-star Friday reviews. Look at Schlecht. He's all over it. Dropping the 5-star Friday intro. What do you got, TK?
I know it's early. Well, it's not really early. We've been doing the show for 75 minutes at this point, but I was going to give Andrew 5 stars for dropping that in like that. Easy 5 stars right there. 5-star Friday, though. We read 5 of the best 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts because the reviews really help us out, we think, for the algorithm. It seems like they help us out. Nobody's ever really cracked the case on this one. Nonetheless, I've got basically 2 sections of 5-star Friday today. We'll start with the feel good, have some laughs section, and then we'll get to the hurt feelings section, which will be exciting.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Number 1, 5 stars from Overnight J, Canadians in Atlanta. The Skinny. 5 guys live in a house together talking about beans, beef, and sometimes, if it's important, basketball. All the talk about green egg, applesauce, and beef makes me hungry. Random hungry emoji insert here. P.S. Can we have a segment called WWJD, but instead of Jesus, it's JD. So WWJDD. At a second glance, it's not so catchy. I'll be back with more ideas. Thanks for getting me through my night shifts. That's a 5-star one. Thank you very much.
So what would JD do? We just give him present something to him and see what he says.
WWJDD. It does sound like a great, write in for advice, advice from JD, and he'll give you the tips on this. And for everybody asking in the stream team, we don't actually all live together in JD's house. He is on vacation with his entire family, which is why we're not just hanging out in his house. But I don't know if you guys want to go over there. Perhaps we can break in and record a classic. Our next 5-star review. This one comes from Lots of Money. 5 stars. Life's a beach, and Lee's probably been there or done it. Is the title. This show's awesome in every way possible. If I had a wife, I would leave her so I could focus on this show more. And if I got lonely, I would find a wife that would want to consume this show. Then I would ideally get her pregnant and have the baby in the womb listening to this show. Then when the baby was born, I would ask Lee to adopt the baby because there seems to be nobody that's more dedicated to dad talk and dad life. We did have a full-on reading of a kid's book on the show yesterday. Plus, with Lee watching the child, it would give me the free time needed to keep consuming the show, and he'll throw in the dad talk, so I know how the baby's doing. Basically, long story short, this show's fantastic and covers the sport of basketball, coffee, beans, betting, beef. What about this guy? World travel, and ideally, my future child. Love you guys.
Wow.
Lee, would you raise a random fan's child as your own for the content?
Well, I guess, look, after tonight's pick and payoff, maybe that can be the punishment. Skeets or I have to
The
raise
loser has to adopt a child and
Yeah,
raise
yeah.
it as one of our own. Wow.
And
High
give
stakes.
updates every week.
Yeah.
on the
Okay,
child.
okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's the last part. I'm glad you're smiling now because some feelings are about to get hurt. Here.
Uh-oh.
Here's our third 5-star review. This one comes from Big Hops 213. This was very tough. I've picked my favorite no dunks, dude. Someone had to do the bulk of the talking, but unfortunately that had to be Skeets.
Oh, damn. So that means I'm out. Okay.
You're out. Lee's accent can get annoying.
Oh, ouch.
But I don't have an accent. Everyone else does. Weird. I get it.
Trey's cool, but his voice just doesn't match his face. I 100% agree. JD never talks. He's not even on this show.
Yeah.
That's right. Tass is my favorite by the slimmest
Wow.
of margins.
Wow.
So a tough one for 4 of us.
Not even a raving review for Tass, really.
Yeah.
That's a default win for
Yeah,
Taz.
Yeah. Deductive reasoning there, my man.
Yeah, this is like when you're the last one to get your pick and payoff pick in, but the team ends up covering and getting you the win there at the end. So a lot of losses for all of us, but congratulations to Tass on that.
Did
one.
I feel like I encouraged that one. Did I ask people to say like to drop their favorites once upon a time?
Probably.
I think I did.
probably.
Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, I like that genre of review. A mean-spirited review that's still 5 stars.
Yeah. Have you? Your name often gets misspelled, Trey. But have you ever been spelled the Trey like the Trey Young in that one?
Not until Trae Young got drafted.
Yeah.
And then it certainly started showing up more often. All right, our fourth 5-star review. This one comes to us from Naomi's Villa. Hands down, the best basketball podcast. They talk about sports like you would with your friends, except they're way more knowledgeable. They don't have sensational takes. They have realistic, honest takes, and it's great to listen to. They're funny and genuinely like being around each other, which transfers to the podcast. I got into the NBA years ago, found their podcast. They made the league super easy to follow. Couldn't recommend more. Thank you very much, Naomi's Villa. That one was to get our feeling back.
Yeah, that one's just like
just to bring it back.
By the
That's
book. Yeah.
very straightforward. So now we're all feeling good. Final 5-star review. Yo, it's Brady. 5 stars. It's like listening to my uncles talk basketball. If you love listening to old men talk basketball, then you will love No Dunks. It's produced by a god of a man. Oh, if only JD could be here to hear that. But yeah, old men talking about basketball. I mean,
that one cuts extra deep right now. That one cuts extra deep because we played pickup hoops on Wednesday night, and I tweaked my back. And I've been hobbling around like I'm like 75-year-old man the last 2 days. And you feel old when you like can barely get out of bed. I'm almost embarrassed to say I barely put my socks on right now. My back is so ugly. Like I tweaked something like legit. Like,
you got dove on, man.
That's
right.
I didn't even get injured from that. Amazingly, I just some movement. A nerve or something is pinched. But anyway, I feel old, so we're uncles. Yeah.
A bunch of uncles, no dunkles. Your uncles. I'm the same, Skeets. I got to set out my bottle of Tylenol at night so that it's already there in the morning when I wake up for this old knee, this old tennis knee struggling. But thank you for your 5-star reviews. Send in more. We'll be doing the next one on May a Friday in May, whatever
Yeah,
the first
there you go.
Friday in May. I was gonna say May 1st, no guarantees.
Yeah, who knows? We'll have to fact check that. All right. Yeah. Send in those reviews. And thank you to everybody that leaves your boys 5-star ratings and those reviews. Okay. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, Taz has tweet of the night. We have those pick'em results, even though you know what happened, but we'll make tonight's tiebreaker pick'em game between Lee and I. The future of some child we don't know on the line. And we'll end with some rapid fire fun. Don't go anywhere.
LinkedIn. One word or two?
I guess one.
Compound word?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Well, it can be both. Because LinkedIn, it can be whatever you need it to be. Looking for a job? That's the place to go. Hiring? Well, LinkedIn is the best place to find your next employee. With so many people switching jobs right now, LinkedIn Jobs is here to help you connect with the people you want to interview faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. That's not a typo. That's a lot. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know? Every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/nodunks. That's linkedin.com/nodunks to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
There are some things that keep getting better as you use them, like a cast iron skillet. When it's got all the many flavors of the things you've cooked on it and they marinate together. It's great. Or it could be, as it is for me, those trusty old pair of basketball shoes. I've been out playing again. It's the older ones that sometimes just make you feel more comfortable. And sometimes now you can actually add bed sheets to the mix. Bowl and brand sheets aren't just buttery, breathable, and impossibly comfortable. They get softer with every wash. We got sent a pair a few weeks ago, or a set, and I immediately put them on because we hadn't actually had new bed sheets for a while. You sort of take it for granted, don't you? Just like put them in the wash and you keep using them. I tried these. It's great. Great, really. I mean, it really is buttery and breathable underneath there.
Yeah, sleeping well?
Absolutely, yeah. My wife loves them. So do I. We snuggle and it's like, it feels really nice. They're silky smooth and cozy, and you can just feel the difference between the old ones that we had been using. Boll and Branch uses the highest quality threads on earth for a superior softness and a better night's sleep. Buttery, again, to touch.
You really roll your R's when you say it. Yeah.
Super breathable. They are perfect for every season. 100% free of toxins, meaning no pesticides, formaldehyde, or other harsh chemicals. I know. I was going to take it out, but I thought, no, I can do it.
Yeah, good.
Best of all, Boll and Branch gives you a 30-night risk-free trial with free shipping and returns on all orders. You guys know, I love that. When a product says, take it for a month. Try it. Really try it out. Not just a week, and also free shipping and all that. So you got a free hit.
Put these sheets down. Snuggle with your wife.
Exactly.
Then
It's a
wash
great
'em.
feeling. Wash them.
Got to.
Put them down again.
Right.
Snuggle. You're back in town.
Right.
Great. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code. Guess what the promo code is?
Athletic Greens.
No dunks at bollandbranch.com. That's Boll and Branch. BOLLANDBRANCH.com. Promo code no dunks. 15% off your first set of sheets. Do it.
All right. Lee, how are those sheets treating you? Still good?
Beautiful. Yeah, really good for snuggling.
Are you more of a fan of the bowl or the branch part of them?
Probably a bowl.
Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
I went mainstream with this tweet. I got no problem doing that because it was a sick burn by an NBA player. After Milwaukee and Giannis beat Kevin Durant, Fox Sports' Nick Wright, well, he tweeted this. I legit feel for KD. He had to be second best to LeBron for a decade, and the moment he might have passed LeBron, Giannis passed him. Second player out of high school, second pick in the draft, second best player in the NBA for life. Legit awful luck. That was Nick Wright's tweet. You know Kevin Durant's on Twitter. He retweeted it with, "Don't feel bad for the god. Life has been incredible, little Nicky." Oh. First off, like, we don't got to dissect a real hot take. Nick used to be less of a hot take artist, but he's getting hotter and hotter and hotter with these takes that maybe he's looking for some engagement. But going the route of Skip Bayless with Nick Wright, he knows his ball. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to do any of this. Okay, Kevin Durant lost a game. The ball rattled in and out. Second best forever. I mean, it's absurd. He is he was
life.
Yeah, he's played 50 games in the NBA this season. But if you put him on a wall, I'd say, I don't know, not a high majority, but he's not getting any less first place votes, or he's not being picked first less than anybody else. He's whatever. Name whoever is the first best player in the game. It doesn't matter. But Nick, you just got burned, man, for no reason. And it's unfortunate. KD's his ride here, 2 titles with the Warriors, obviously not respected like a lot of other people's 2 titles, but damn. It felt good. It felt good for KD to get on there and just, fire back a little bit. So that was great. To call him Lil Nicky, which is a good nickname.
Very funny.
Yeah, that's a good nickname.
I logged onto Twitter this morning and I saw Little Nicky is trending, and I thought, what? We're getting a Netflix reboot of the Adam Sandler classic that I definitely saw opening weekend in theaters. Only thing that makes this better is if Katie had included like the little his little man taunt as well, Little Nicky.
Yeah, he's got to get a custom emoji.
We can call that now. Nicky? Yeah, when he does that to somebody, you just got Little Nicky. Oh, I like that. All right.
Yeah, it is interesting too, because I've mentioned this before, because it's pretty rare in the NBA where one player will call another player the best in the world. And after Giannis, always after Giannis plays Kevin Durant, he's asked about playing against KD, and Giannis will always say, that guy's the best in the world. That guy's the best in the world. So Lil Nicky might not think he's the best in the world, but Giannis usually says that. I wonder at what point does Giannis say, no, I'm the best in the world, dude.
Yeah, he might think that, and rightfully so.
Seems to be happening
at this point. I also have just a tweet from our guy, William Liu, because I wanted to throw this in here before we head into the weekend. Tass, big weekend for Raptors fans, because William Liu, he tweeted at William_Liu, if you want to follow our guy. The thought of Kyle Lowry coming home for the first time in over 2 years is overwhelming. It's going to be unforgettable. Can't remember another Toronto athlete in my lifetime that is loved to this degree. Lowry making his return to Toronto to play, obviously, with the Heat against the Raps, I believe on Sunday, Tass. Can you think of another Toronto athlete as loved as Kyle Lowry? I think William Liu is right. I mean, who would it be? Like Doug Gilmore?
Roy Halladay was pretty loved, wasn't he?
Not
Matt Sundin. I mean, Roy Halladay was definitely loved. Matt Sundin definitely loved.
Yeah, but those
Wendell,
guys, they didn't
Wendell's
get
mustache,
the Toronto
Clark.
championship. Yeah.
Joe Carter?
Joe Carter, sure. I mean, he'd be on the list. Yeah. But Lowry, I think, head and shoulders above these other Toronto athletes. So that'll be, that's going to, I mean, we got the little like McCollum going to Portland standing ovation, or 90 seconds, whatever the Love Fest was there. That was awesome. What is going to happen, Lee, in Toronto on Sunday? Like with obviously a packed crowd and Lowry's first game there in a long time. It's been since I think it's been 2020 since he's been there.
Well, okay, yeah, because they were in Tampa, right? Yeah, right. I mean, I guess it's a tribute video and a standing ovation. He'll have the hand on the heart, thanks to everybody. But that's kind of all they can do, really, isn't it? I mean,
he's going to go and shake every single person's hand in the arena.
Masai, is he going to shake Masai's hand?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
So anyway, that's this on Sunday.
That's great.
I know. Can't wait. I'll be honest. I started looking into flights home to Toronto. I was like,
do it.
I know. It's like you don't want to miss like this, but I'm not going. My back's screwed. I can't get on a plane now. I'm old. Okay, pick 'em results. Okay, it was the Bucks-Nets game. Brooklyn was favored by 1.5. That Kevin Durant 3 drops, I win, but it didn't. So I lost. And that means Lee and I are tied in the month of March, which is now over, but we have an identical record. Tass is fine. Trey is fine. You guys are clear. You don't even need to pick tonight. So Tass picked the game, and it was the Pelicans-Lakers game. It's in LA. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
LA's favored by 1.5, small line. Nice. Tass wanted to give us one that was basically a pick 'em. And I thought it was only fairly that I gave you first pick the other night in the Bucks-Nets game. And so Tass threw the line out there, and I was like, okay, I'll pick first. And I picked the Lakers. They're at home. And that means Lee's taking the Pelicans. And look, am I feeling confident about this? No, not at all. But the Lakers are out of the play-in tournament right now. I don't even know what the status is of like LeBron or AD. I mean, by all reports, they were going to be going.
Yeah.
But
I thought AD was playing, but I don't know about LeBron. But anyway, 1.5, these two teams, it's a coin flip for sure.
Yeah. Also, I can't tell if you're trolling me at this point. Guys, I don't owe any more pick 'em payoffs. Okay? I paid my dues. Dog, shock collar.
Yeah.
I was on a bike. I shaved. I had a mustache, for crying out loud. Yeah, I've paid them all off. It's Tass that owes a couple, not me. But I might owe one, depending on what happens tonight. What were you going to say, Trey?
Nothing. Oh. Yeah, I was going to say what you had said.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got your back, bro. I got your back.
Yeah, it's like, you don't want that hanging over your. I can't sleep at night as it is, so I don't need that on me, too. And yes, Yusuf was trolling. Good stuff. Okay, so let's end this drop podcast with a little rapid fire fun. TK, I believe you have the questions, and we've got your answers.
Indeed, I am the question master today. Our first rapid fire question: Dear No Donkey Bunch, Tass's 500 Celtics started the season 23-24 and have gone 24-6 since. When's the time you thought you had plateaued but ended up having a positive breakthrough? That's from friend of the podcast, fan of Big Green Hats, Cheeve out in Somerville, Massachusetts. Nice. Skeets, a time you thought you plateaued, but ended up having a positive breakthrough.
I think you would agree with this, Trey. I think it's the No Buffs podcast. Because we've taken things to the next level over the last couple episodes. And we had a nice, first season, if you want to call it that, with Network, with Jason Concepcion. Had a blast talking Survivor. It was great. Got some subscribers, getting some new fans from the Survivor world. And I thought, well, maybe this is it. It's just us, fans, talking about the show. But no, over the last 2 episodes, Rick Devens was on. And then, yesterday's show, the new No Buffs episode, we had Wendell Holland on. We had a winner. Come on. Giving us the insight to what it's to be like out there on the island. So we're just, No Buffs to the moon, baby. It's a rocket ship. So there you go.
You're 100% right. People are calling it the best Survivor podcast that has no people that were actually on Survivor on it. So
facts.
Yeah. Get your subscribers up right now. Tass, when's the time you thought you had plateaued but ended up having a positive breakthrough?
Well, it's when I donated blood. And what I mean by that is I was just donating blood. All good. Everything was normal. But then I saw Michael Grange was donating blood, and he was timing how long it took the blood to be drained from his arm. And I was throwing up my time on the internet as well. And it was around Michael Grange's time, maybe a little bit slower, between like 5.5 minutes and 6 minutes to drain a pint of blood from my arm. But then all of a sudden, I went in thinking there's no chance I can ever come close to beating him by a good margin. It was always just close. We were always, neck and neck. And then boom, the blood just fell out of my arm. It was way under 5 minutes. And it was like, how did it improve by like, 30, 45 seconds, just like that? I don't know what happened. It wasn't because I don't know why. But I kicked his ass, Seabass. Was I doing what?
Well, I remember back when I used to be a phlebotomist, we would tell them, don't squeeze. You don't want to squeeze because that can tense up your muscles. But if you roll Like if you
Ooh,
roll something in
interesting.
your fingers, it keeps it going nice and fast. But I mean, under 5 minutes, that's a quick bag.
Yeah, that was a
Bag
good
of blood.
That was a good bag. I don't know if I can ever do that again.
Yeah,
Why-
it's
why in
Bob
my
Beamon
head-
jumping so far?
Why does it feel like the quicker you're getting the blood out of you, the worse the blood you're giving? I don't know. In my head, I want it like slow and thick.
Slow
but
and thick.
I'm sure that doesn't mean anything at all. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is.
Like
maybe
I
that's
don't
true.
want watered down ketchup, right? I want
It's a
it-
good point. You
wanna-
gotta shake up your blood before you start
Yeah.
giving it.
But that's impressive, Tess, and good on you for giving all the blood.
Yeah, gotta agree with CWE Crocker here. Tass was in his blood bag. Then.
Ah.
Oh, Lee, what about your plateaus?
Yeah, so I was thinking about these answers last night while the Nets Bucks game was on, and when the Nets were 7 points up with 3 minutes to go, I thought I'd plateaued for the month. I thought that's it. It's been a good month. It's been close, but I'm done. But then I got a lucky break. Giannis came and saved the day, and I got another lucky break when Kevin Durant's shot that I was like, okay with on a 2. I said, just put that gigantic foot of yours on the line if you're going to hit this shot. But he missed it anyway, so I lived to fight another day, and now the month depends on the New Orleans Pelicans and the Lakers.
A spicy one tonight.
Ooh, yeah.
Spicy one tonight. Our second rapid fire question. According to scientists who claim they've identified what makes a person the least interesting, the most boring person in the world works in data analysis, lives in a small town, and enjoys watching TV in their spare time. What do y'all think makes someone the most boring person in the world? Skeets.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I think my answer is someone that doesn't like music. Like, there's not many people in your life that you'll meet where you say, "Do you like music?" Almost everybody says, "Yeah." They like some
I do
sort
like
of music. But there are people, and I know one in particular, that does not like music. Fascinating response. And I love this person dearly, but and she is not actually all that boring. But man, I just can't imagine not liking music. I just can't wrap my head around it. So that's my answer.
Get those melodies out of my ears. I'll talk, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to have those people for the podcast numbers. Get your podcast up because you're putting something in your ears.
Yeah.
You better have something in your ears. Tass.
The thing that makes the most boring person in the world, anything the Tinder swindler does. I don't know if you've guys seen the Netflix doc, but that guy is just boring.
Swindler.
Buy designer clothes, awesome. Fly around, awesome. Be so cool, awesome. It's such an empty shell of a life, Tinder swindler, and he's still doing it. He's still doing it. He got away with it. He got put away for 5 months for forging a check, but he didn't get screwed for screwing everybody else. What a life, that guy. What a life. It just seems so, it's empty. It's boring. He's got more passports than Lee Ellis. That's the only cool thing about him, that he's got a billion passports. So everything else, lame.
Lee.
Yeah, well, speaking of passports, I was back in Australia like 11 years ago, and I was caught up with some friends, had a big sort of to-do one night, and so a lot of people came along, and there was a couple of sort of those fringe sort of second-tier friends who came along, and I haven't seen them for a while. And I was talking to this one guy, and I just said, so how are things going? He's like, all right. I said, haven't you got your own business these days? He was a plumber, electrician or something. He said, yeah. I said, oh, that must be pretty good. No, not really. No one pays on time. I'm like, okay. So married, kids? Nah, I don't want kids. I'm like, okay, yeah. Got your own house? Bank owns it. Okay, yeah. I'm done. I think I'm just going to go and stand out in traffic right now. It was hilarious. I mean, we were just not like super close friends, but I thought there'd just be a little bit of a, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's life? You know, like, what's going on? Instead, it was just one blow after the other, and I was just like, yeah. All right. I think we're done. I think we've covered everything.
Good stuff. Final rapid fire question. On a recent episode of How Hungry Are You?, Serge Ibaka asked Klay Thompson who he would rather keep, his dog Rocco or his teammate Stephen Curry. Rather than answer, Klay took a big old swig of cricket tea, made with real crickets. Fellas, what's a choice you would rather not make, Skeets?
I do not like that when I go through a fast food drive-through and I'm asked, what do you want to drink with that meal you're ordering? I don't like it, and I don't want to make a decision because I already feel a little guilty that I'm getting fast food in the first place. Like I did this yesterday. Grabbed some Chick-fil-A through the drive-through. And then I get asked, what do you want with your what do you want to drink? And it's like, I want a Coke, but I know I shouldn't because the healthier option will be just to get a water. But then I'm the weird guy getting a water with my Chick-fil-A nuggets. But so I'm always torn. It's like, I've gone this far. I'm eating crap. Should I just get the Coke? And then, I just I'm conflicted. I got the water yesterday. And they didn't give me a water bottle, just a straight up cup with ice and water. Like it looked like a Coke.
I thought you were going to say a straight up cup with ice and told you to leave it outside.
Yeah.
Be thirsty later.
So I don't like that. I hate how you really can't have the option. It feels like that you don't want a beverage. You have to have a beverage.
It's financially beneficial to get the beverage. Otherwise, you're paying a la carte order prices. Oh, come on, it's ridiculous.
It's true. It's nuts. But don't ask me Chick-fil-A if I want a water or Coke or whatever else. I just want the nuggets. Give me some Polynesian sauce. We're happy. I'll drink the Polynesian sauce.
There you go. Get your drink right there.
Yeah.
Tass, what's a choice you would rather not make?
Honestly, it's a tale as old as time. Boxers or boxer briefs? Now, I'm not a crazy man. I'm not going to wear briefs, but boxers or boxer briefs? Boxer briefs, quite often, too tight, riding high. Boxers, too loose, too much space, too much air in there. So it's always a tough one for me. I haven't found the perfect, just in between. What's right in the middle of a perfect boxer and a perfect boxer brief? I haven't found them. And we've got some great sponsors on this show, Saks and others. But so the thing about the boxer briefs, it's almost like a woman taking off her bra at the end of the day. It's just a nice release. But it's just up in there. It's just so clammy all day. And the boxers, it's too bunchy. So
let's go commando.
You crazy.
Walking around Disney World commando, Disneyland, wherever. What are you? Wait, what is it in Florida? Disneyland or World? I can never. World. You're in World.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think we're all in the 79% right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely am. Lee, what about you? A choice you'd rather not make?
Yeah, so we're not looking for a house, but a couple of weeks ago, our real estate agent just happened to say, hey, I know a few years ago when you guys were looking, this kind of ticked all the boxes. Good spot, good schools, price. You want to check it out? Okay, so we went and checked it out. Now, you guys know the housing market is just crazy here. So by the time we even got there, they had like 35 offers on this house. And so we were like,
on the market for 6 minutes.
Basically, yeah. So we were like, all right, so, we're not going to get that house. But now, am I back in the housing market? I'm not sure. I don't want to have to make that choice to be back in the housing market because I know that's not a fun market to be in right now. You guys all know it's a bloodbath out there. So, but when the right house comes along, like this one did, she absolutely nailed it. This was exactly what we're looking for. We just too crazy to get in on it.
So was everybody else, apparently.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't want to make the choice to be like, all right, we're back in now. Let's start looking around again. Instead, I'd rather just be like, can you find one that no one else knows about that's exactly the same?
Why don't you buy Graydon's house?
Where is it?
It's on the west side. He's moving. His house is up for sale. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. See, I don't.
No way.
Nah. Why I mean, he must be able to sell that. Everyone's house is.
Yeah. They're not gonna have a problem, like you said.
In
this market, come on.
Yeah.
You want to buy my house?
Which one? Not the one in Illinois. That's not still available.
This one. Why not? Yeah, it just seems like a good time to sell a house.
Yeah, it does. That's a great time to sell a house, right?
Great time to sell a house. Unfortunately, you have to buy another house.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's the rapid fire portion of this podcast. That's the drop. Hopefully it was a classic. I think it was. All NBA talk. Great games on last night. 5-star reviews. Tweet of the night. Lots of good stuff in this one. But let us know. on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe and leave your boys those reviews. 5 stars only. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. Get yourself an Athletic subscription. Theathletic.com/nodunks. Andrew, Slam and Jam. Is that dropping on Saturday, I hope?
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow we're talking Lakers.
Oh, God. What? Why are you doing that?
The Wheel of Fandom. It has a mind of its own.
Wow.
So
You're telling me that thing's not planted? The Wheel of Fandom to come up the Lakers the last week of the season when they're really playing for something here. You had the Celtics when they were on a great run. You had the Grizzlies when they were on a great run. Seems like a Lee Ellis popping packs kind of conspiracy to me.
If you want to pop on the Zoom when we do it, I will let you.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Wheel
you're
is
saying
real.
so confidently that I have to believe you.
Oh, amazing. Well, we highly recommend you basketball fans out there check out the Slam and Jam podcast. It's on the Athletic NBA Show podcast feed, part of the Athletic Network, of course. It's a great podcast, one of my favorites. I love that it drops on the weekend too. You guys are in the sweet spot because there's not a lot of podcasts dropping on the weekend. So it's like I'm like desperate on some of these long runs. It's like there's nothing left to listen to. I've listened to everybody. And then you get a little Slam and Jam. It's fantastic. So go check that out, guys. Andrew, like I said, you're back with us all next week, except for Tuesday, because we're not going to be doing a show on Tuesday. But that's Tuesday, guys. Don't worry about that right now. Monday, we're back to do our NBA weekend winners and losers. Then we'll take Tuesday off, and we'll be back for the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I guess you'll even be sticking around a little bit longer than that into the next week. JD, how long's JD off? Jeez, you know what?
To go a long time.
He deserves it. He deserves it. So, JD, I pray to God you're not listening or watching right now. And we know you're not. So we're okay. Guys, thanks so much to the stream team for joining us here live today. Again, we'll be back on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. And you can subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember to subscribe not only to No Dunks, but the Athletic NBA Show, where you will find the Slam and Jam podcast this weekend.
Brace the weekend, people.